Good morning, everyone. Very happy to be here today to share about AI in government. So my name is Jason, and I lead the Data Science and AI Division at the Government Tech Agency of Singapore, or GovTech for short. And our mission is encapsulated in these six words here: engineering digital government, making lives better. Last year, we launched our National AI Program in government, adding on to the existing suite of programs under our National AI Strategy, which I believe was also shared on this platform before. This slide here shows really the three core business functions of the government, and we hope that AI can help us to improve our policy making and planning, to enhance our service delivery, as well as optimize our internal operations. So in the next 15 minutes or so, I'll just share some simple use cases, how we improve in these domains, and also give you a sense of how we approach our government AI strategy. So first thing is, while AI represents the frontier of our digital government ambition, and it can be very transformative, but I think there's also a lot of hype about AI. So our first key approach is really to focus on value and use cases, be clear of what's the problem we are trying to solve. The joke sometimes is that people want an AI solution, but for what? Second, as we work with the various agencies, we realized that talking to individual agencies, whole of government agencies, and trying to help them individually was not very scalable. So we also look at how we can invest in enablers, really to help to accelerate the growth and scale up of the AI efforts. And for that, we develop central products and tools so that multiple whole of government agencies can actually use them. Third, we realized that data is either impediment or a key enabler, right? So later, I'll just share very briefly about how we have put in place our government data architecture to enable secure data sharing across whole of government agencies. And finally, I'll just touch very briefly about our capability building efforts in our people. So starting with the value and the use cases, I think we started our first step just by trying to identify what AI can do to help the public officer or the agency. So there are two ways which AI can help. You either automate repetitive tasks or you augment human capabilities. And on the left, we identified two archetypes of systems. We have your recognition and conversational systems. On the right, AI can help to maybe detect patterns not perceivable by humans. It can also help with decision support through data insights. So on the right, we have the three archetypes: clustering, pattern and anomaly detection, regression forecasting and decision support, and then personalization. And with these 5 archetypes here, we further identified 9 common AI applicational use cases. And this is really meant to help agencies to more efficiently scope the use of AI in their business context. So if you think of the 9 common AI applicational use case archetypes, right, they must deliver business value. And these are just the natural buckets for which each common use case may tend to naturally fall under. So I'll just briefly, for example, cover on the left-hand side in the realm of policy making and planning. Agencies tend to like to use topic modeling, text analytics to better sense-make issues. And then they leverage predictive modeling to see how they can get better outcomes. And I'll just touch on maybe 2 quick use cases. So Enterprise Singapore works very closely with a network of SMEs centers who help SMEs with business advisory capability upgrading workshop. And every month they get almost 2,000 to 3,000 reports, right, detailing the ground concerns that SMEs face. In the past, the staff officer probably has to read through thousands of problem statements and try to analyze the report. But what Enterprise actually did was to implement an automated classifier to really try to identify and consolidate these ground concerns into the SME Center sensing dashboard. And this allowed them to really be able to review the case trends and concerns in a much more timely fashion. In terms of predictive modeling, HDB also used AI to try to streamline their valuation processes. HDB is our housing development board. So in the past, all the resales have to go for manual valuation, because if the price is higher than the valuation is used to cap, the amount of loan that the buyer can get. But what we did with HDB is to really develop an internal ML algorithm to help to estimate an internal reasonable price. Okay, we looked at over 20 variables using techniques like random forest regression. And the model then helps to identify more risky transactions to send for valuation. And this allowed HDB, collectively, we save over more than 2 million in terms of valuation fees per year. And to the individual buyer, there's cost and time savings. Of course, to get this implemented, this is already running. To get this implemented, there had to be policy changes within HDB. So I share a few quick examples on the left-hand side, right? And if you think about it, from the common application archetypes that we had identified across public service, the next step was really to see how we can productize central tools to help enable adoption where technically viable. So we developed central AI products to support. So this slide shows, not all, but as many as we can. So this slide shows the list of central products we currently have. We have GovText, which is a common text analytics tools. Agencies can leverage on it for topic modeling, text summarization. Analytics.gov is a common analytics platform, central analytics platform where we host common analytics applications, whether it's Jupyter notebooks with high compute, whether it's data visualization tools like Tableau and ClickSense. And we're also looking at how to bring in ML ops capabilities in the next bound. And some of the tools here are quite self-explanatory. We have the virtual chatbots. We have Personalized, which is essentially your web and email personalization tool. I'll talk about Jumpstart later. And on the right, we have transcribed speech-to-text, language translation tools, video analytics system. Bottom right is our fraud detection platform. This is an internal product that allows agencies to conduct due diligence on grant recipients, businesses, and partners so as to counter fraud against government assistance schemes. And there are a couple of agencies that give out such grants every year. So in the next couple of minutes, I'll also share some of the use cases where these central products highlighted in orange is able to help support use cases to enhance service delivery as well as optimize internal operations. MSO. MSO is seen maybe as a one-stop shop, right, where you get day-to-day feedback of municipal issues. So last year, we launched an AI-powered One Service chatbot to really allow easy reporting of these municipal issues on the go with either Telegram or WhatsApp. Okay, the chatbot is built on Vika, which I had shared earlier, and it pulls out relevant information from the residents in a real-time conversational manner. On top of that, we built an automated case classifier that's able to pull together the feedback text, geolocation, as well as images submitted by the resident, and then automatically case route it to the agency in charge. Okay, we can get almost hundreds to thousands of municipal feedback every month, and there's over like 20 agencies and 12 town councils involved. So in the past, manual case routing is quite laborious, but now with this, it really enables much more convenient and faster one-stop service delivery response. My Careers Future is a government portal which is administered by Workforce Singapore, really to help facilitate job searches. Every month, there could be more than 55,000 job options, more than 50,000 active job seekers, and the numbers are growing. So manual searches will be quite onerous. So we looked at the data and we developed a central AI platform called Jumpstart, really to help to optimize some of these search recommendations. Applied techniques like collaborative filtering, similar to how Netflix recommendation engines work. So we recommended jobs based on applicants of similar profile, similar browsing, clickstream. And we saw a 20% improvement in performance. And last year, we continued to administer over 1 million applications, over 100,000 applicants. And we will continue to refine the model so that we better match job seekers to jobs. And there's also many use cases we have implemented in the domain of video analytics. For example, saving lives with the computer vision drowning detection system. This is progressively already being implemented by Sports SG. In fact, during our initial evaluation phase, almost a couple of years ago, we saved a life at Alcon swimming pool, okay, because the trial system then actually detected a potential drowning incident early. There's also the safe distance at park, where we actually implemented using our video analytics system to try to automate the crowd counting in our national parks as part of COVID-19 safe distancing measures. And we also leverage video analytics to look at mobility trends, human traffic flow for the purpose of urban planning. And these very simple modest use cases just cover the tip of the iceberg. And later in the QR code I'll share at the end of the presentation, you can actually scan it and find out more about some of the other projects that's happening. And the government is huge, right? It's not everything is administered by GovTech itself. So I'll move quickly to talk about data. In the last couple of years, we have implemented our government data architecture really to enable secure data sharing across whole of government agencies. And we do this by first designating our single sources of truth, and these are responsible for acquiring, cleaning, maintaining high-quality core data sets. And then somewhere in the center, we have 4 trusted centers that's responsible to fuse these data sets based on the required use cases. On the right-hand side, okay, we have central platforms again, like Vault, analytics.gov I mentioned earlier, which allows the data users to discover, request, download, and analyze these data sets in a secure and compliant environment. For the government, GDA helps us to really save time and resources. There's almost more than 200 core data sets across 36 single sources of truth agencies, and our data sharing request time has dropped from months to just within 7 working days for 99% of the data requests. I'll try to contextualize this using an example. Jumpstart, I mentioned, is a central AI platform really for job and skills products across whole of government. So the point I want to emphasize with this slide is that good data modeling is a critical enabler for AI. So if you look at the blue and the purple, where possible, Jumpstart really tries to bring together the relevant data sets required to power our AI models so that they can be more personalized and optimized. Whether this means pulling in admin data from the GDA I mentioned earlier, or whether this means pulling in data from other non-GDA sources. For example, we have systems like My Careers Future, My Skills Future, which could be another part of government, not designated as core data set, but their system clickstream data would be useful. So for that, what we do is we build data ingestion and the modeling pipelines once and bring it in, and then you can actually reuse for similar job and skill products across the whole of government. Of course, this all happens within the compliant data sharing and data security governance, but this will give you a sense very briefly about how we looked at data in order to enable better AI. In the last 1 to 2 minutes, I will briefly touch on people, right? I think people is incredibly important. We developed our public sector AI playbook, which I'll share again with the QR code later. I won't have time to go into the details, but basically this really helps to enable and support our government AI strategy because we want both our public officers and agencies to better understand AI. So this goes into very basic things like what is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, yada yada. People need to understand that AI is not a silver bullet, okay? And some of the common applicational use cases, the central tools available, the methodology to scope an AI project, these are details that we have shared, including what is probably quite helpful, given the feedback by our agencies, is a compendium of use cases. On the bottom, you see that AI governance is something very critical that we are also looking at in this bound and for the next. I think how to explain, just now I was talking to Dr. Mary, right? How to explain the AI models and how they work, for example, with our job recommendation engines to our internal stakeholders. This is my time is up. Okay, and on the right-hand side, we also have a lot of resources that we put in terms of capability building to upskill our public officers, uplift public agencies in both data science and AI, whether it's in terms of frameworks and guides, training workshops, and community building events. Okay, we have almost like 3 Data Science Connect almost every year. I think I'll leave you with 3 parting thoughts. First is really there can be a lot of hype about AI. You can have a lot of AI pilots, but it's not easy to get them into production. So some of all the use cases I shared are actually very modest, but they are in production and delivering business value. Second, to go the next bound, you really have to think about how to invest in enablers in order to accelerate growth and scale up. Whether this is in trying to productize central tools to help, whether this is trying to address the data impediments and foundation, whether this is in terms of investing in your people. And this is my last slide. I'd like to share just this quick project, which we are partnering both Singapore General Hospital and MOH, really to help Project Pensive, really to help support early detection of dementia. We came up with an AI-enabled digital tool. You just have to draw certain sketch tasks, 5-10 minutes, and we throw in the techniques. We are in the midst of a live testing and recruitment. We'll share more details once we are ready. But I wanted to share this because AI can be simple, but AI can also be very exciting and meaningful. With that, thank you for your time and attention. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event today.